I want to get to the journos straight away. Dylan Brown, some speculation around his contract. Will he stay at Parramatta? Will he go? What's the latest information?
Yeah, Braith, look, this is certainly a significant story as far as being one of the stories of the pre-season, and in his relation to Dylan Brown's future. We know that he has those clauses in his contract at Parramatta that have this situation where he can get out at the end of this season. And it's the Newcastle Knights coming in with a 10-year offer.
10-year offer.
Of $13 million, Braith.
$13 million?
Yep, 1.3 a season for Dylan Brown. Now, I can tell you for the first time of this entire process, the Eels are getting nervous.
Well, they have to be. Let's just get back to that deal. 10 years, what, $1.3 million a year?
Yep.
To go to the Newcastle Knights. They've already got Kalyn Ponga, who's the highest paid player in the game.
He's the highest paid player in the game.
How are they going to be able to afford it, and is it worth it?
Well, they can afford it, Braith, because if you look at their cap, they get a bit of free space next year. So they've been hamstrung a little bit, the Newcastle Knights, by an inability to move players on or get rid of some players that are on significant money. We saw Daniel Safidi leave at the end of last year. They've got Jackson Hastings off contract this year. He won't be re-signed. Jaden Brayley won't be re-signed. Adam Elliott's on a significant deal as well. He's also off contract, as is Jack Hetherington. So you add that up, and it's significant money.
All right, let's get back to Parramatta.
Yep.
Why are they nervous? Can they match the offer? Can they get anywhere near it? Do they want to keep him? What's the situation with them?
They're sitting at around $1 million a season, the Eels, and they feel as though that's a fair enough offer. And I've got to say I agree. I agree totally as far as where Dylan Brown has got to in his career and what we've seen so far. I think that's fair enough. But when you start to expand on that contract over a 10-year period, it's a significant difference, $1 million compared to 1.3. And that is why they do. They know Dylan wants to stay at the Eels. They know that. But
do they?
Well, they believe that. Yeah,
they believe that.
They do believe he wants to stay.
Okay. So he was. So
do you think he's worth it, Braith? Right? He's a 5'8", plays in your position.
Yep.
He's 25 now.
The reality is, you got to pay overs for halves in today's game because they're few and far between quality ones. I think for the age that he's at right now, his best footy is ahead of him. He's only going to get better. But for that money on a 10-year deal when you haven't won a premiership is big money. But I'd be willing to take a risk. If I'm Newcastle, I'm looking at Kalyn Ponga. I'm looking at how good he is, and at the moment he'd be close to the best player in the game. Now add one of the best halves in the game to that combination in the spine. It's going to hurt you everywhere else because you know most of your cap's gone on two key players. But if I'm Newcastle, I'm doing it. I think he's well worth it. But then it puts Parramatta in a tough situation.
What about the 10 years though? Like we see 50% of them worked in Daly Cherry Evans and Jason Taumalolo.
10 years is too long.
Gordy, Braith, Mick, this is a risk beyond all means. As far as I see it as a desperate play by a desperate footy club that's trying to get a significant signing. And you keep raising Kalyn Ponga, I think it's an additional play to keep Kalyn Ponga. Kalyn wants good players around him. Right now, the Knights are losing more than they're signing.
They need good players around him, right? Because otherwise they're going to waste Kalyn Ponga's best years. He's a premiership, he's an elite player, he's the #1 player, paid player in the game. And if you don't surround him with good talent, then you've just wasted his best years. So ideally, I'm sure the Newcastle Knights wouldn't want to give him 10 years. But as Braith said, that's what they need to do to get him out of Parramatta.
From this point of view, right, if they're trying to sign Dylan for 10 years, there's already speculation whether he'll stay or go. So if they're going to sign him on 10, they'd have to try and upgrade and extend Kalyn at the same time. Kalyn could go in 2 years.
Yeah, but they can't do that on the proviso that Kalyn might leave, right? But add in Dylan Brown helps the case to keep Kalyn, right? They need Kalyn to go. How are they going to win a comp? They're not going to win a comp.
Can I ask you this, Braith, right? To get that money means you've got to run the team.
Definitely.
That's right.
He's got to. There's no doubt about that.
But Braith, have you seen anything in Dylan Brown that suggests he's a halfback, and not only a halfback that can steer aside with a rookie 5'8" in Fletcher Sharp? That's going to be the scenario.
It is. You said it before, David. It's a desperate play from a desperate club, but I like Dylan. I think he's got so much
I think he's a great player as well.
He is not worth $1.3 million.
Well, he isn't. We know that.
Isn't.
Everyone knows that.
If Nathan Cleary's four-time premiership winner at 1.5...
If Newcastle don't get him, who do they go for?
That's the issue. They're just treading water. They'll be treading water tonight, so they've got to go all in, make a play, and they need a circuit breaker there.
Mick, you just rattled off all the players that they need to let go and have to let go because they've paid overs for. They find themselves in this cap issue. yet they're about to make a play for 10 years on a player that has shown no significant elite quality as a halfback of which they're attempting to sign.
There's no doubt, Dave, that in the last 2 years he hasn't kicked as much as we all thought he would. I'd suggest, right? He was the best 22-year-old in the game at one stage.
Yeah.
He's 24 now. He's played 100+ games. He's about to hit his sweet spot. And if I'm the Newcastle Knights, and the way that roster is at the moment, I'm doing that. If you said to Newcastle, would you like to not give him a 10-year deal? I think they'd agree. They don't want to do that.
The other key thing is, guys, it's the kiss of death to all those young rookies coming through. There's no halfback in the lower grades of the Knights that's going to stick around, given that you've just signed Brown on a 10-year deal.
Yeah, but
Fletcher Sharp through till 28.
There's an opportunity to play outside Dylan Brown. Fletcher Sharp's still got his L plates on, right? We're not sure if he's going to be the long-term answer in the half.
Is this just a smart plan from the management of Dylan Brown, though? You know, like they've put him out there early. The email was sent out. His price tag's gone up. If he wants to stay at Parramatta, he could just end up landing there in the end and getting a hell of a lot more money, which is a good work by his management. Is that going to happen or what?
Because Parramatta, as Dave said, they're not going to give him more money. They're not putting any extra years on that contract, right? Yep. It's a smart play in the sense that he's got that offer there, right?
I think it's dangerous going over 7 years.
Yeah, I'm with you, Gordy.
And I don't like any long-term deals and all these...
Especially if you haven't won a comp.
Yeah. I think it's the time the game stands up to the managers. 10 years for that is way too much.
Correct me if I'm correct.
And clubs shouldn't be bullied into it.
Correct me if I'm wrong. It's the same management company that looks after Jason Taumalolo, who, as we know, also secured a 10-year deal at the Cowboys.